All right, today we're going to dive into a really simple, but believe me, an incredibly powerful idea, all through a little story we're calling Aisha's grouping game. Now, this is something a young girl named Aisha hears from her mother every single day. It sounds like a pretty simple instruction, right? But it's about to become the key to unlocking a whole new way of looking at numbers.
So let's meet Aisha. She's a super smart 11-year-old, and we find her at her mother's stall in a bustling Nigerian market. And right there, amongst all the chaos, she's learning a new way to count things, a game she calls counting in base 2.
Okay, but here's the catch. In this new game, there's one very strict, unchangeable rule. It doesn't matter what she's counting, the only group size she is ever allowed to make is 2. And trust me, this one little constraint changes everything. So let's break down what we're calling this 2-2 rule. It is the single most important part of this whole idea. And you know what? It's surprisingly simple once you get the hang of it. Okay, so think about how we all count every day. That's base 10. We go 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 9, and then we make a group of 10, right? Well, in Aisha's game, base 2, you only get to count up to 1. The second you have 2 of anything, bam, you have to bundle them up.
So what's the point of the game? It's all about making bundles. You take a pile of whatever you have, you make as many groups of 2 as you possibly can, and then you just count what's left. Those little leftovers, we're going to call those units.
And look, this isn't some abstract math thing. Aisha's practicing with stuff she can find right there in the market. It's all tangible stuff that makes the whole idea click. Honestly, you could do this right now with some coins or paper clips on your desk.
All right, time for our first test. Aisha's got 5 groundnut shells. So how is she going to count these using that new rule? Let's walk through it together. She starts with her 5 shells. She pulls 2 aside. That's our first bundle. Now she has 3 left, so she can make another bundle of 2. And after all that, what's left? Just one single shell.
So there you have it. In this game, the number 5 is just 2 bundles and 1 leftover unit. Perfectly neat and grouped, exactly like her mother wanted.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about a different number? Now, Aisha has 8 broomsticks. This should be pretty interesting because 8 is an even number. Let's see if that changes how things work.
The process is exactly the same. She starts with 8 sticks. She makes 1 bundle, then a second, a third, and a fourth. And just like that, she's used up all 8 sticks, making 4 perfect bundles. So the big question is, how many are left over?
0. That's right, there are no leftover units at all. And this is a really critical idea. Whenever a number divides perfectly by 2, the number of leftover units is always going to be 0.
So after seeing these examples, how do you know when you've actually got it? Like, how do you officially win Aisha's game?
Well, the goal is actually super clear. If you can take any number of items, bundle them all up into 2s, and then tell me how many bundles you have and how many units are left over, you've mastered it. That's the whole game. Now, here's what's so fascinating. It doesn't matter what number you start with, 5, 8, 100, a million, the number of leftovers can only ever be one of 2 things. You're either going to have 1 unit left over or you're going to have 0. There are no other possibilities.
And this is the part that might just blow your mind. With this incredibly simple system, just counting bundles and keeping track of leftovers that can only be a 1 or a 0, you can represent any number you can possibly imagine. This simple game is actually a complete and totally powerful system of counting.
And here's the final amazing connection. Aisha's game of bundling items in 2s, that is exactly how computers count. They use base 2, a system of just 0s and 1s, to do literally everything. It really makes you wonder if the foundation of all modern technology can be understood with just a few shells in a market. What other huge, complex ideas are out there, just waiting for us to simplify them?